Hi everyone, a very good morning to all of you. As we all know that we started studying about mechanical properties of solids, where we studied about what is the meaning of deforming force, what is the difference between elastic and plastic behavior, and we also concluded that no body is perfectly elastic and the no body is perfectly plastic. So perfectly elastic, what does that mean? It can regain its shape completely, which is not possible. And the perfectly plasticity, which cannot regain any piece of deformation. So both are not possible. There is no perfectly plastic body, there is no perfectly elastic body. And today also we study little bit about that elastic and plasticity in depth, and we study about the types of stress and strain, where the deforming force per unit area is called stress, and the change in configuration to the initial configuration ratio we call it as strain. So let us first talk about elasticity. How the elasticity or elastic property shown by any substance. See, when you apply deforming force on the substance, what happens is, suppose consider one cube shape. Just for better understanding, we are taking cube shape. But usually what happens is, consider like these all are springs. So there are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 springs arranged in the shape of spring. They attach like a cube. When you try to apply force from any side, then what happens? The shape will change, and after removing it regains its original shape. Because if you take a spring, you try to compress or you try to stretch and leave it, then it will regain its original shape. It will extend. It will get compressed. But after that it regain its original shape. This is because you are applying some external force that is called deforming force. Then because of deforming force, it develops some force inside. The object will develop some force inside, that is called restoring force. You apply some force, kept on the table and leave it, then it can regain its original shape. You are not regaining, you don't have to pull it back, you just apply force and leave it. It is coming back. That means when you try to destroy, when you try to change the shape, some force is developing inside the substance, which is trying to regain the original shape. That force is called restoring force because it is trying to restore the original shape. It is trying to regain the original shape, restoring the original shape. That's why it is called restoring force. So, when you increase the deforming force on the body, then restoring force also increases. When you compress more, then more force will develop. You take a spring, put it on the table, try to compress little and leave it. It will come back slowly. If you try to compress more and leave it, it will come back very quickly. Greater the deforming force, greater the restoring force. So because of this restoring force, the body shows the property called elasticity. So like that, so the solid body behaves like a spring nature. means it develops some force called restoring force inside, which helps the body in regaining its original shape. So deforming force and restoring force. So when you apply deforming force, restoring force also develops. So these two things are also important, you need to understand. And also one more thing, that is, this is all about plus elastic behavior. But when you take a solid body, any matter is made up of atoms, small atoms or molecules. So there is an interaction force between the atoms. And in case of solids, the interaction forces are very high and they are attractive in nature. That's why the solid is very tight and rigid. It is very closer. It is closely packed one with high interactive, attractive forces between the atoms. So they attract. They closely bound to each other because of the interatomic forces. What kind of forces though are attractive? But as the separation between the atoms increases, the attractive nature turns into little bit repulsion. So when you try to stretch the body, then the interatomic space increases, so that may change into little bit repulsion also. So because of those forces, the body may set some permanent change. That behavior only we call it as plastic behavior. Plastic behavior means what? Because of deformation force, the body gets some permanent change within it. So that behavior is called, which cannot be regained by the body, that behavior is called plastic behavior. So every body shows elastic behavior as well as plastic behavior, as we discussed in the last class. Up to a limit it is elastic, then it starts behaving like plastic. So as elasticity decreases, plasticity increases. So both are there for every body, every substance. That's why no substance is perfectly elastic, no substance is perfectly plastic. Every body, every substance shows elasticity, then plasticity. So this way also you can take little bit deep about the elasticity and plasticity. So that now come to our continuation part. So elasticity and plasticity. So when you apply deforming force, so we define stress. And this stress again we divide into three types. One is longitudinal stress, another one bulk stress, another one tangential or shearing stress. There are three types of stress in case of a solid. So on what basis they divided into three categories, that is we need to understand. Then what is the definition? So both the things we need to understand. So stress is deforming force per unit area. Also you can say like restoring force per unit area. When deforming force, restoring force, both are equal in magnitude. Because when you try to increase the deforming force, restoring force also increases. When you decrease deforming force, restoring force also decreases. So in such situations, when deforming force approximately equal to restoring force, then you can define this way also. But if you take the fundamental definition, the stress is nothing but deforming force per unit area. Also, one more thing you need to remember here. What is the unit of stress? Force by area. Force we measure in Newton. Area we measure in meter square. So Newton per meter square. If you take CGS, it is dyne per centimeter square, because Newton is SI unit for force Dyne is CGS unit for force, and here meter, and in CGS centimeter. So Newton per meter square. This also called like Pascal, but that we will study when we study about pressure. You can also remember right now. Newton per meter square is nothing but what? Pascal. Anyhow, so this is the unit of stress. But now our main thing is on what basis we have divided. So here, as we studied last class, when you apply deforming force, it develops stress. Then it causes strain. You apply the force, then stress will develop on the body. When there is a stress on the body, it causes some change in the dimension. That is called strain. Change in the configuration by initial configuration. So whatever change we are talking, if the change happens in terms of length of the solid body changes, then the stress you developed or the deforming force which applied some stress, that we call it as longitudinal stress, or you can say simply the stress which causes change in the length of the substance or solid body, that is called longitudinal stress. Length should change only. When length changes, see, there may be some other factor changes, but if length changes, the stress which is the responsible for that change in length, we call it as longitudinal stress. Obviously, you can define strain also like the corresponding strain. So there is also one strain, that is delta L by L. Change should happen in terms of length. So this is called longitudinal strain. What is this? Longitudinal strain. So there is a longitudinal stress when there is a change in length, and the corresponding strain we call it as longitudinal strain. But here comes two types of longitudinal stress. What are those two types? See, you take the wire or you take a rod, thin rod, try to stretch. You try to stretch by applying forces on both ends. So when you try to apply force, then the length increases. If you take the same thin rod and try to compress, then length slightly decreases. So there is a possibility that change in length in two ways. Length may increase, length may decrease. Yes or no? Then if you consider that the length increases, then you will define tensile stress. When length decreases, compressive stress. Tensile stress is nothing but longitudinal stress which causes increase in the length. Definitions also important. And compressive stress is a longitudinal stress which causes decrease in length, which reduces the length, which causes the length decrease or decrease in length. So here delta L by L is positive, here delta L by L is negative, because here change is positive, increased, here change is negative. So tensile and compressive. So longitudinal stress is all about a stress which causes change in length. Similarly, if you consider bulk stress, when there is a substance, solid substance, and the deforming force applied at every point of the surface, at perpendicular to the surface, such that there is a change in volume. volume of the body. There is a change in volume of the body. Here there is a change in the length. Here should be a change in the volume. So if the force is applied at every point of the substance at right angles to the surface such that the total volume will change by some amount, then we call it as bulk stress. Then obviously you can define that there is a change in volume by initial volume. This is called volume strain. This is called volume strain. So here longitudinal strain, here volume strain. See, longitudinal stress causes longitudinal strain. Bulk stress also causes bulk strain. But as volume is changing, they gave the name as volume strain. Bulk stress causes bulk strain. You can also call it as hydraulic stress when that is applied by some liquid or gas, fluid. You can also call bulk stress as hydraulic stress when fluid applied the stress in the similar manner. Like you take a solid ball, keep it inside the water, then pressure will be applied from all the directions. That is called hydraulic stress or bulk stress. Then the ball get compressed from all the directions so that there is a slight change in the volume. That corresponding stress we call it as bulk stress, and the corresponding strain is called volume strain. Now tangential or shearing strain. So this is the stress when it is developed if you apply a tangential force. Tangential force means a force applied tangentially, horizontally on the object, such that its shape slightly changes. I will give you the example. Its shape slightly changes by displacing the object. By displacing the object slightly. Because of change in the displacement slightly, it will get displaced by small angle. Like you take a rod and it is fixed at the bottom. When you apply force tangentially, then rod will slightly shift like this. So there is a slight change in the position, slight change in the shape by some angle. So this force acting per this area, per unit area, is called tangential or shearing strain. So the body is slightly shifted by some angle, and this angle is called shear angle. What we call it as shear angle or shear strain. This theta is called shear strain or shear angle. So when you apply tangential or the force that causes slight displacement for the body to change its shape or position, we call it as tangential or shearing stress. So this is the way you can define the stress in three types, right? So let us take diagrams and try to understand little bit clearly these three things. So that I will give assignment based on these three things only, so that you can solve the questions and you can understand what type of questions can be asked based on these three things. Now, first thing, longitudinal stress. So consider there is a wire or thin rod attached to the a fixed ceiling. This is fixed one. Now like this wire. Usually wire means cylindrical shape. So this is what area? Circular area. So this is like circular area. Let's take that area is A, capital A. Now you apply a force F. See, this doesn't mean that you are applying only one force. This means you are applying two forces. See, you take this one. You are applying force F. Then this rod is attached to this ceiling. So this rod also tries to pull the ceiling with some force F. Same force F. But according to Newton's third law, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So this ceiling also applies same amount of force F. So there is a force on both ends of the rod which is perpendicular to the area, this circular area. Then this is called deforming force per unit area. This is called the tensile stress or longitudinal stress. But here why we are calling it as tensile stress? Because the length will increase. The length will increase. So here you are applying a force here means it doesn't mean that you are applying force at the, it is like the situation like you are applying forces at both ends. You are trying to pull the body out with two equal and opposite forces. Then only the change in length happens. Or else, if you take ideal situation, if you apply force on the same rod kept on horizontal, which is almost negligible mass, then this will not cause any strain in the body because here no opposing force. But if you apply force here, then only it will start stretching. It will start increase in its length when there is one more force. Both balances each other and they try to cause the increase in the interatomic separation, the stretch in the body, increase in the length. So that's why this is called tensile stress. This is the way you need to understand. Nothing but longitudinal stress. Right? Now, let's take the other case. This is one surface and you kept one rod. Now you apply force in this way. Same circular area A. Now the length slightly decreases. Here length slightly increases. Let's take suppose after application it became like this. Here length got decreased but length only changed. So here you apply force F. Then this rod will apply force here. What is this? Surface. But according to Newton's third law, the surface also gives same reaction. So if you take this object, there is a force you are applying, there is a equal force developed due to the contact with surface. So now the case is like two forces are trying to push the body inward. Here it was like pulling out. Here it is like pushing in. So that the length decreases. So this we call it as compressive stress. But both are longitudinal stress because length is changing. And in both the cases, the change in length by length is called longitudinal strain. Longitudinal strain. So this is what all about longitudinal strain. When you apply force such that the length changes, then change in length by length is called longitudinal strain. First one. In similar way, you take bulk stress or volume stress. So you take a steel or iron ball and try to apply force from all the directions at each and every point perpendicular to the surface. Then there is a decrease in its volume. The ball size slightly changes, slightly decreases. So whenever bulk stress happens, applied on the body, volume decreases. In previous case, length may increase, length may decrease, but here always delta V negative only, change in volume. And this is possible only when you keep this, the best example is when you keep it inside the water, then pressure will be applied, because stress, force per area, nothing but also pressure. But stress we define in case of solids, pressure we define in case of fluids, liquid or gas. So both definitions are same, force acting per unit area. That is what we call it as stress or pressure. So that's why in case of bulk stress, we will take bulk stress as P, nothing but force by area. Usually they give the questions also like pressure. So what is pressure? Pressure nothing but force per unit area. But in case of liquids and gases, so that is what bulk stress. So pressure is nothing but bulk stress, or also you call it as hydraulic stress. Hydraulic stress. Then there is a change in volume but negative. Then this is called volume strain or hydraulic strain. Or simply you remember volume strain. So volume stress causes change in volume, and the ratio of change in volume to initial volume is called volume strain. So this is the case, what we call it as the bulk stress or volume strain. So the bulk stress or volume stress and the corresponding volume strain. Similarly, let us try to understand the last one, that is shearing or tangential stress. Let's take this is a cube. It is placed on the surface such that it is pasted, stick to this surface. It can't come out. And now you apply a force tangentially to this surface. Then the force whatever you are applying, force by area, is called tangential stress or shearing stress. Same definition. Then what happens is this slightly moves. This slightly moves forward. This slightly moves forward by a small angle. And this small angle is called shear angle or shear strain. Shear angle or shear strain. So that there is a slight displacement delta x, and let's take this length of the surface is L. Then tan theta is approximately equal to theta. Why? Because this angle is very small, because all changes, whatever delta L, delta V here, delta X, whatever it is all very, very small changes. The body will not change in greater terms. Then it cannot regain. Whatever elasticity we are talking about, the changes are very, very smaller. So then only we will consider all these things. So that as angle is very small, delta X is very small, tan theta approximately equal to theta, where tan theta is opposite by adjacent L. This is a right angle triangle. So that this theta or delta X by L is called shear angle or shear strain. So this is all about the shear stress or shear strain. So where the object slightly displaces and changes its shape. Like it was like a rectangle. Now it is looking like a parallelogram. Slight change. Slight change in the position causes change in the shape. That kind of stress which causes this kind of effect, that is called tangential or shearing stress, and the corresponding strain theta is called shearing strain, shear strain, right? So this is all about the three different type of stress. In the coming class we will study about Hooke's law and the three constants which are related to these three types of stress or three types of strain. So before ending, let me just brief the things what we studied. One is longitudinal stress, which is two types, tensile and compressive. Length increases tensile, length decreases compressive. And there is a corresponding strain, longitudinal strain, delta L by L. Bulk stress, when there is a force at perpendicular to surface from all the directions which causes decrease in volume. So that is bulk or volume stress which causes volume strain, which is always negative, minus delta V by V. And here comes tangential or shearing stress, which causes slight shift in the position or change in the shape of the body by some angle theta, that is called shear strain. Right? So read everything, make clear notes and understand in your own way, and let me know if there is any doubt. And I will give you assignment based on these three things only.